Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us for our weekly press conference. Since I became mayor in 2018, I have often stated that public safety is of the utmost importance in our community. The men and women of the City of Erie Police Department are doing incredible work to ensure that our city is a safe place to live, work, play, and raise a family. Today, I'm happy to say we are joined by Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis, who's here with us. You want to give him a round of applause? Let's see. We will also be hearing from Tom Lennox, Senator Dan Laughlin, Representative Pat Harkins, and Police Chief Dan Spizzarni before we're done. Erie Police Athletic League is the most successful organization of its kind, working to unlock the power of the cop-kid relationship. PAL programs help reduce crime in our neighborhoods, promote positive character development, and improve educational outcomes for our children. Officers interact with youth, coach, mentor, teach, and play sports with students after school. PAL has ramped up its programs, increased its reach for over the past several years to meet the demand. It has grown from, when I first took office, 35 students, 1 school, and 6 officers. Now, there's 1,700 students involved in 27 locations with 120 officers, 4 of which are full-time staff in this. The students are provided a safe place to meet and interact with officers, and they are building meaningful relationships that are having a long-term impact on our community. Through honest conversations, team building, field trips, recreation, tutoring, and athletics, the students get to know our police officers as people. Now, I'd like to introduce Lieutenant Tom Lennox from the City Police Department, who leads our PAL program. Thanks to his commitment, dedication, and passion, our Erie PAL is helping to drive down crime and create pathways for our students. Lieutenant Lennox, the podium is now yours.
All right, thank you very much for everybody that's in attendance today. Mayor, thank you for those kind words. Chief, thank you. And of course, Lieutenant Governor Davis, it's an honor to have you here in our city. For everybody that knows me, I don't write anything down. I just go with the heart and at the top of my head. But first and foremost, I want to thank everybody that I've had the privilege to work with in the last 9 years. 9 years ago, it's our first school inside of Piper Burley. It was 1 location with only 35 kids, 2 officers. If somebody would have told me in 2024 that our reach and our impact was not only in the city, now we're starting to break some barriers and get into a different municipality, I would have told you were crazy. So you got to have good leadership. It isn't a one-person program. All right, I wouldn't be standing up here if it wasn't the the great leadership of Mayor Joe Schember, his mayor assistant Renee Lamus, Aaron Lonke, his staff, our chief Dan Spizzarni, William Marucci, Deputy Chief Rick Laura, Captain Tallarico, and Inspector Janice. So I wouldn't be up here if all of our command staff who runs this city weren't on the same page as it relates to our youth in our city and the progression of how we can continue to make that impact. So for that, I thank all those individuals. Obviously, our representatives from the city and Representative Mirsky, Representative Bizzarro, Senator Laughlin, these are a lot of moving parts that, the growth of this program has always been a team approach. The buy-in from our business owners, our school districts, it's all come together and made it a successful program. All right. And without further ado, I would like to give specific attention, to the officers, all 100 plus officers that, make the sacrifice and the commitment, on a daily basis inside of our schools. A lot of these guys, it's a very tough job, and what their normal job duties are, but they still find the time, hours a day, to make that significant impact with the youth in our city. And, you know, they are the heartbeat of this program. And I'd be remiss without thanking all of our frontline officers that take the time, the dedication, the sacrifice, and the continued work ethic to continue to progress this program forward. And I'm really looking forward to see where this program goes. I mean, I'm hoping in 4 years that we have upward of 3,000 to 4,000 kids throughout Erie County that's involved in a part of this program. So for that, I want to thank the officers, and last, these kids that we serve, and they serve us. You know, again, I always say it's a two-way street. You know, it's not what we're doing in their lives as much as what they're doing in the lives of us officers. And I take that very serious. And they've made a significant impact on all the officers that are involved in this program, just like I would like to think that we make a significant impact in their life. So thank you, everybody, for coming today. And it's an honor. Now, while we're here today, you know, we're here because the Lieutenant Governor in his office in Harrisburg were so gracious with the representatives in our city to really advocate for this program. And, you know, again, this is about keeping our team together, because this job is no longer than a one-man job. And receiving this funding will allow me to keep my team together at a full-time basis for the next few years until we hope to be able to sustain this program well after 2 years after that. So I'd like to thank Corporal Hayden Foltz, Sergeant Melanie Szorek, and Officer Antoine Fields, because they're my heartbeat on a daily basis to help, I guess, keep me on the rails as well. So I thank these three that are up here with me to where this money that we're receiving today will help keep pushing us into the future. So without further ado, it is my honor to introduce Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis. Lieutenant Governor Davis is the youngest lieutenant governor in the country and the first black lieutenant governor in Commonwealth history. Inspired by the history makers who came before him, Austin is determined to motivate a new generation of public servants to break even more barriers. Austin's path to the second highest office in the Commonwealth started in McKeesport, Pennsylvania, a former steel town in western Pennsylvania. Go Steelers.
That's right. Had a rough season.
Yeah, we did have a rough
We're in
season.
a rebuilding period.
Growing up, he watched his mother, a hairdresser for more than 40 years, juggle raising a family with putting food on the table, and he watched his dad work as a union bus driver. In 2018, Austin successfully ran for the State House of Representatives to represent the Mon Valley in his hometown of McKeesport, becoming the first African American to represent his legislative district. As Lieutenant Governor, Austin presides over the Pennsylvania Senate, chairs the Pennsylvania Board of Pardons, leads the local government advisory committee, and serves on the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Council. Governor Josh Shapiro has also appointed Austin to the chair of Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency. While serving as Lieutenant Governor, Austin is focusing on combating the epidemic of gun violence, supporting small and minority-owned businesses, advocating for the working-class Pennsylvanians, and being a champion for communities that feel like they've been left behind. Austin currently resides in Allegheny County with his wife, Blair Holmes Davis, and daughter, Harper. So without further ado, welcome Lieutenant Governor Austin.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Lennox, for that warm introduction. It's so great to be back here in the city of Erie. Mayor, thank you for welcoming me here this morning and for all your hard work. I got my start in local government, so I know this is really where the rubber meets the road. I want to thank the members of the Erie City Council who've joined us here today as well as Selena King from Senator Fetterman's office. Thank you for being here as well. And I also want to thank our partners in the state legislature. You know, governing is really a team sport. And in Pennsylvania, you can't get anything done without folks coming together. And that means Democrats and Republicans coming together to get things done for the good people of Pennsylvania. And nobody has a better delegation of legislators than Erie County. So I want to thank particularly Senator Laughlin for your work in the Senate. It's an honor to serve with you, and Representatives Mirsky and Harkins for their hard work and their advocacy. I had the privilege of serving with both of these gentlemen in the State House, and I can tell you, you have no better advocates than them fighting for you in Harrisburg. This issue is really a bipartisan issue, and I think you can tell that by the folks who are here today. I'm so excited to talk about an issue that's really near and dear to my heart. As someone who grew up going to a Boys and Girls Club in my hometown of McKeesport in southwestern Pennsylvania, I know firsthand the value of after-school programs. At their most basic level, they provide structure after the school day ends, but the best programs enhance and expand on what our kids are learning in schools, giving them social skills, homework help, sports and exercise, music and art, and so much more to help them develop into the people that we want them to be. They also keep our kids safe during those critical hours after the school bell rings at the end of the day. That's why investing in after-school programs is a top priority for the governor and I. We're proud that in the 2024-2025 bipartisan budget we were able to pass, for the first time, we're providing state resources for this priority. Every Pennsylvania kid, whether they live in Erie, Easton, Elwood City, or Philadelphia, every child deserves to have the freedom to both feel safe and be safe in their communities. They deserve places that give them safety and experiences that expand their horizons. And parents deserve the peace of mind knowing their kids are safe while they are working hard to provide for their families. When kids and parents don't have that basic need for safety and security, we simply can't thrive as a Commonwealth. Investing in after-school programs isn't just the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. The return on investment for these types of programs is somewhere in the neighborhood of $7 for every $1 we invest as a Commonwealth. And there's a huge demand all across this Commonwealth. For every kid who is enrolled in an after-school program, there are 4 more waiting to get into one. That's why we're incredibly excited to announce that the Commonwealth is awarding more than $11 million in grants to 46 applicants, including the Erie Police Athletic League, to expand after-school programming here in Erie, but across the Commonwealth. We're awarding grants to programs in cities like Pittsburgh and Erie as well as more rural communities like Clarion and Butler. It was incredibly competitive. There were almost 300 applicants requesting nearly $65 million in funding. That's almost 6 times what was allocated in our bipartisan state budget. Clearly, the demand is there, and it's only going to continue. Last week, I had the privilege of joining Governor Shapiro in Lock Haven, Pennsylvania, to talk about how we're investing in state and local law enforcement. We've provided funding to add nearly 1,500 new law enforcement officers in our communities in just 2 years. But it takes more than just police to make our communities safer, and these officers up here know that. We need mental health resources and good schools and workforce development programs. We need all of those things so we can address the root causes that ultimately lead to gun violence in our communities. It's not enough to respond to gun violence when it happens. We need to make sure we're preventing it from happening at all. We're making progress, but there's still so much more work to be done here in our Commonwealth. The #1 cause of death for young people in America isn't cancer, it isn't car accidents, it's guns. When we invest in after-school programs like the Police Athletic League, we're being smart about safety, and we're saving lives. There's no more important metric when we talk about getting stuff done for the good people of Pennsylvania. And so it's my pleasure to now bring up a partner in this work, someone who I have the privilege of working with in the Pennsylvania State Senate every single day, my friend, your Senator, Senator Dan Laughlin.
Unlike Officer Lennox, I actually like to have a few notes. Look, folks, it's really great to be here. The PAL program is something that I've supported since the first time I met Tom Lennox. And I appreciate that Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis is here today. And I can tell you that when he says that we work together in Harrisburg, we actually mean that. You know, Governor Shapiro, I think his term is GSD. That's a bipartisan effort, though, I will tell you that. So we're here to talk about how state funding is making a real difference for kids across Pennsylvania and right here in Erie, Pennsylvania, by supporting programs that give them structure and opportunities outside of the school hours. Our Pennsylvania teachers are incredible, and here in Erie, they are second to none. They pour their time, energy, and even their own resources into creating programs that help our kids succeed in school. But the reality is, kids spend a big chunk of their time, or a big chunk of their lives, outside of the classroom. And this time often ends up being unstructured or unsupervised. And that's where these boost grants come in. These grants are designed to support programs that keep kids engaged, safe, and learning when they're not in school. But let's face it, we can't just invest in schools and call it a day. We have to think about the whole picture if we want to raise a generation of successful, thriving young people. Here in Erie, we are fortunate to have the Erie Police Athletic League. Erie PAL is about much more than activities. It's about building meaningful relationships between law enforcement and our youth. Officers serve as mentors, guiding students as they grow, and in the process, creating a sense of safety, trust, and connection with authority figures. Programs like PAL don't just help individual kids. They make our entire community stronger. They reduce crime, build character, and help kids succeed in life. I'm thrilled to share that the $250,000 in boost funding will be going to the PAL program, and this funding will support tutoring, mentoring, summer camps, educational field trips, and recreational activities for the 1,700 kids that are currently in this program, and hopefully we'll get it up to, what was it, 4,000? Something like that. I can't overstate my admiration for Erie PAL and the dedicated officers who make this possible. Your work changes lives, and you are helping shape a brighter future for our children. And I have to tell you, I'm going to give a personal shout out to Officer Tom Lennox. When he reached out to me about this, I think it was 8 years ago, I was like, I'm in. So we're here to celebrate the success of this program. We're here to help fund it and programs like this across the Commonwealth. So thank you, and thank you, Lieutenant Governor, Austin Davis, and now I'd like to turn it over to Pat Harkins. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome, Lieutenant Governor. Great to have you up here. Austin's no stranger to Erie. When we served together, he was here multiple times, and last summer we were here, much better weather, but we got a chance to enjoy Presque Isle. Police Athletic League. The history is very vibrant in my family. My dad served on this city council for a number of years, and when I did some research and looked back, he was instrumental in the 60s of bringing PAL originally to Erie. He was very active with sports, athletics, education, but boxing was a big passion of his, and I looked through something the other night that one of my sisters gave me that showed that he had a group of people that they organized Police Athletic League. So when Tom Lennox approached me, it was a no-brainer, and excuse me, I had the opportunity to get together with Tom, and more so in the last year or two, but last summer, I'll never forget it, I had an eye exam at 9 in the morning, and I had promised Tom that I'd be with him at 10, and I got out late, but Dr. Sala had put the drops in my eyes. So I had to drive from 11th Street over to the Boys Club, and that was a feat in itself. But when I got there, to see the enthusiasm of these kids and what the team is doing with them was phenomenal. It was worth sitting in the sun for 4 hours with them. But then we went to Gannon University 2 weeks later, and I participated with them with some of the things that they were teaching the kids. And to see the things that they did, it wasn't just this and that and do the right thing. It was these people poured their hearts into these people, these students, who need that, who don't get that at home, who don't have the neighbors to look up to. It's just a great program. I'm committed to it. I'll do whatever I have to make it work for them. Tom and I have some initiatives in the works currently, and we got to get together on that. But the 3-week summer camp in itself is something that I brag about in Harrisburg to my colleagues, and then they ask how they can do that and implement that in their area. We welcomed Tom and his team to Harrisburg last fall, and they got an eye-opener. I took them through some of the areas that we go through when we're in session, and I think it was an education to them to see how the sausage is actually made. But we look forward to making that an annual event. I felt bad during Christmas. Tom brought the team down with the students, and they toured not only Harrisburg, but Hershey and some other areas. But I look forward to them coming down in the summer when the budget process is going on and the people are there. With that said, anything we can do to get this on the right path and to continue this and advance it, it's very, very needed in the inner city and as well as in the county. So they're looking to branch out, I know, and I applaud them for that. Next up, I'd like to introduce Chief Spizzarni. He's been a great, great asset to our city, to me personally, and I feel that we're very fortunate to have a person like him leading this great crew of people. Thank you.
Good morning. I'd like to thank the mayor for everything, as well as everybody here on the stage, for their support and what we're doing here in the city of Erie. I'd also like to point out we have the Erie County Emergency Services class sitting in the back there. We'd like to welcome them to see. They're here to observe the police department, and then they'll be visiting the fire departments later today. So they're getting a real-world lesson. Do a joke, not do a joke. All right, I'm going to try to do a joke. Our crime numbers are down. It's no surprise, and I'm going to get to that. But I just want to let you know we had nothing to do with turning the temperature down, okay? Sorry.
Good Erie joke.
I'll skip that next time. All right, Jason, if you're ready, let's get into our nitty-gritty here. We'll go pretty quick. Our homicide, you can see. We ended the year with 6, and only one of them was gang-related. So it was a huge drop to get us back down to where we want to be in that single digits, and hopefully, as the mayor said, we'd like to have a year with no homicides. So we're going to work hard at doing that. Last year, we started the year 4 months. 4 months, nobody was shot in the city of Erie, nobody was killed. Years ago, we were having a shooting once a week and a homicide once a month. So we went 4 months without anything. So we know we can do it. We're just going to continue working at it. On our confirmed shots fired, 4 years ago, we were at 311. Last year, we only had 104. It was down 66%. The number of people shot dropped from 72, which is a little over one a week, to about one every 3 weeks. That 18 people shot, 8 of them were either accidental or a justified shooting, leaving only 10. Of the 10, we were able to make 6 arrests. There were 4 cases that remain open, and mostly because the victims are refusing to cooperate. So tremendous job by everybody in the department in doing that. If we can hold these people responsible for the crimes they commit, it makes a safer community. Next page. On the aggravated assaults, you'll see 4 years in a row we've been decreasing the number of aggravated assaults. The robberies are down compared to the last 2 years. Stolen firearms, very great number there, down to only 47 stolen firearms last year reported. Obviously, the recovered firearms are down because we're going to recover less because less were stolen. But those are also great numbers to know that only 47 guns and not 148 were stolen. As far as simple assaults, you'll see that they're down slightly from last year. The criminal mischiefs on the property side, it did go up a little bit, but again, it's not a life dependent crime, so We're all right there. Our auto thefts are down 132, the least amount in the last 4 years. Our burglaries the last 3 years have dropped, 3 years in a row now, so we're very happy about that. Our theft cases, general theft, showed a slight uptick, but we're still within where we were 2 years ago. And then for the rapes, we're down to 33. And the sex offenses, a huge drop there of 110 cases from 261 to 151. Wonderful numbers there. Our forgeries dropped 4 years in a row. Our fraud went up just slightly, but from 11 to 16, so it's not a huge jump. Lastly, our arson category did go up by 6 fires, but again, no significant huge jumps there. It's the hard work and dedication of the police officers, the detectives, the crime scene unit, the lab techs, the technology that we've been able to purchase, the cameras, and the staffing. We've been working with 18 extra officers in ARP funding for the last couple of years. We've been able to obtain some grants to keep those ARP officers on longer so that we are fully staffed. And I think that the staffing plays a great role in being able to keep these crime numbers down, that we're able to address crime, but we're also able to have officers, over 100 Erie police officers involved in a program like PAL. So put it all together, it makes for a great city. We had a great year. I'm happy to report that, and no more jokes. So I'll turn it back over to the mayor.
Thank you very much, Chief Spizzarni, and everyone who spoke. This has been really a great experience. So we appreciate the updates that we've received. Our Erie Police Department is doing incredible work and doing a fine job to keep the city of Erie safe and secure. Thank you again to Lieutenant Governor Davis for joining us today and sharing the news about the funding that means so much to the Erie Police Athletic League and more than 1,700 students who are in that program. This funding will help put PAL on a sustainable path for the future, until it can be raised to 4,000 or 5,000 people, right? And that concludes this week's press conference. Please continue to follow us on social media for the latest updates on everything happening here in the city of Erie. Everyone who spoke is now available for interviews. That could take a long time, but thank you very much for being here. It's the biggest crowd we've ever had at one of these. Thank you.
Thank you very much. No, this is wonderful. Congratulations.
We got 2 TVs.